What's up guys? In this video I'm going to break down exactly what I eat to stay in shape. No macro obsession, no tracking every calorie, no overcomplicated meal plans. Just real food, cooked at home, that fuels my training, my energy, and my physique. I think we've all heard the saying that abs are made in the kitchen. And it's true, but it doesn't just stop with abs. It comes with building muscle too. Training is only half the equation, and if your nutrition isn't right, progress is going to stall. You can lift perfectly, follow the best training program, and still look the same if your food isn't dialed in. And before I walk you through my actual meals, I want to be very clear about one thing. This is what works for me. I'm 5'11", I'm always in between 195 pounds and 205 pounds, and this fits for my life, my goals, and the body that I want to achieve and want to maintain for the rest of my life. But what I want you to do is to utilize certain non-negotiables that I'm going to give you that could set the pace for you to actually build your own routine. Because that's truly what it's all about. It's finding what works for your body so therefore you can maintain it for the rest of your life. You can hear everything about fitness and nutrition all you want on social media, but it will never hit until you actually implement it and sustain it in a routine. And that's what I want to show you today. The non-negotiables that truly matter when it comes to nutrition and eating healthier so you can get in shape and stay there. My number one non-negotiable is I eat organic food whenever possible. I'm not perfect, but I prioritize organic food as much as I can. Because here's the thing, we only get one body, right? So I'd rather invest in quality food than spend money on stuff that doesn't move my health forward. And I'm not here to judge you on what you spend your money on, no. What I'm saying is put your health in the same pedestal as if you would money. Because here's the thing, without you, you wouldn't be able to get the money. If you're in bad health and terrible shape, who's going to achieve that? Not you. So in my opinion, health is the real flex, because a healthier you is a stronger you, and a stronger you can chase everything he wants in life. And at the same time, you have to eat less processed foods. That's a non-negotiable. And here's the thing, when you start eating more organic foods, eating less processed foods actually becomes a lot easier than you anticipate it to be. Certain foods you're going to crave here and there, that is a given. That's part of life, you're human. But if 80% of the time you're making the better choice to eat organic food, and you stay consistent with that for the remainder of your life, you're gonna get in shape. And here's the thing, I understand for certain individuals, it's not that easy. Because for me, it wasn't. For the first few years of my life, I ate entirely processed foods. I moved from Haiti to New York, and the first few years when we were living here, that's what we depended on. That was our way of living. But over time, as we settled more, got more ingrained into the culture, grew ourselves, we started making the better decision and invested into better quality food, to the point where we have a chicken coop in our backyard and a garden all year round. And I'm not saying to go to that extreme, but what I'm saying is change is possible. If you consistently work at it, it will happen over time. And one tip I'll give you is start with one meal. Breakfast. Eat a healthy breakfast every morning. It's a game changer. And it's the first thing I always tell somebody to implement when they're struggling with eating healthier. Is start with breakfast. The one thing where you usually do have the time. If you just wake up 30 minutes earlier, make something that you love, you make it healthy, I promise you, it's going to change your mood, how you go into your day, and how you go into the rest of your day. But most importantly, how you feel. Instead of snacks as first thing in the morning, you have a whole food meal in your system, you're bound to do better, you're bound to be more focused, but most importantly, you're bound to have more energy as you do it all. And talking about energy, stop the protein obsession. Focus on everything. Protein, carbs, and fats. You need all three to be as healthy as you can be. If you maximize protein, but your carbs and fats are nowhere to be, yes, you're going to be lean and build muscle, but you're going to feel like crap while doing so. A lot of people that you see that are shredded year round are the ones that are always miserable and not enjoying it. So to enjoy this, to sustain it, you have to maximize all three. Protein for muscle growth, carbs for energy, and fats for your hormones. Carbs are not the enemy. If you train hard and want to perform, you need them. You will not get stronger if your carbs are always at zero. So you ensure that you eat the adequate amount that your body needs. And you can easily find this out by going on certain calculator apps and just getting a basic overview of your macros. From there on, just see what carbs you could fit in for maybe 120 grams, 180 grams, 160 grams, wherever you're set to be. And then you'll know which 3 carbs or 4 carbs that you need. It can be that simple. And I'll give you an example of what balance looks like. My morning usually starts with eggs. They're so easy to make. You can boil them, you can scramble them, you can do whatever you want with them. Pause. And it usually goes eggs, spinach, salmon, turkey bacon, or some sort of meat, maybe steak if I have leftovers, and homemade waffles for carbs, or an everything bagel. From there, lunch technically depends on the day. If I have meals I usually prep, and if I do, I sometimes prep rice, chicken teriyaki broccoli, or I'll prep chicken alfredo pasta, or I'll make a chicken bake, which is the Costco chicken bake. I just make my own homemade version. Yes, you can do these things. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. You can have fun with your cooking. For me, everything that I used to love as a child, I just now make myself. I make my own pizzas. See, my version is extreme, but to me, this is what healthy actually looks like. When you start enjoying the little things about food, you truly start to realize that everything is truly within your control. Yes, God is in control of absolutely everything. But when it comes to your cravings and how you react and your relationship to food, you can definitely control that. And as for dinner, it's usually simple and protein focused like most of my meals. But sometimes I tend to add more protein than most of the others. So if I'm gonna get steak and chicken, I'm gonna add more steak and more chicken. I'm a late night snacker. So if I have more protein for my dinner, it tends to push off that craving. And again, like I said, I'm not always perfect. Out of 7 days, 14 days, once or twice I might snack. But as long as I keep my dinner consistent, it tends to push that off. To where in years past, it was snacking every night. And basically, when my parents would go grocery shopping, it would be gone the next day. To now, as I've grown into an adult, I've been able to manage it, control it, and put myself in a better position. I've overcame that pattern and gotten myself in shape. So again, nothing fancy, just real food. And when you make the decision to eat better quality food and reduce processed foods, you've basically done all the guesswork. All the craving PDFs, ebooks that you've downloaded and gotten, all the meal plans you've seen, you'll realize that all these things were just avoiding you and pushing you away from what you truly need to focus on, which was eating better quality food and eating less processed foods and eating a balanced meal plan. And when I want to get shredded, I tend to keep protein the same and lower the carbs just a little bit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And when I want to gain a little bit of weight, I increase protein and carbs, and fats overall just stays the same. But the basics of quality food and less processed foods never changes. That will never change. That's why it's such a staple. That's why if you master these two things, everything else is done. Does that make sense? Because too many people focus on what actually doesn't matter. Oh, I need this diet plan. I need to try this diet, that diet. How about how you're eating on a daily basis? What is your eating pattern right now telling you? Showing you? Okay, now let's change that. Let's eat better quality food. Let's eat less processed foods. And I promise you that diet will become irrelevant. So again, stick to these basics and I promise you they will change your life. These are things that have worked for me and thousands of people that I've coached and successfully get the results. So I know that will work for you if you actually take it seriously. But again, you have to make that decision. You have to make the choice. But with that being said, hope you have a great rest of your day. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe. Peace.